Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmek here and welcome back to another video. Today, I am starting off a new series in regards to covering off the dungeons and Season 4 in regards to tips in tanking them, how to handle Awakened, how to use your obelisks, where to put them. For any new tanks, these guides are basically aimed at, and it's not a full dungeon overview. I'm not going to talk at you for, 30 to 40 minutes of a full dungeon. I'm going to have a clip playing. I'm kind of going to fast forward over it. I'm going to highlight sort of bits and pieces, mobs you need to be aware of, what pulls you should sort of be aiming to do, and how you should operate with your obelisks. I understand new tanks really moving into the plus 10 area, going for your plus 10 achievement or your plus 15 achievement this season. If you haven't seen Awakened and you're going into pugs, there's going to be that expectation that you as the tank know what you're doing, and I want to try and help you feel comfortable in that regard. So I'm starting off with the Motherlode today. Motherlode's actually fairly basic in regards to your obelisks, so I figured it was quite a good one to start off with. Regardless of key level, anything above 10, this is kind of the pathing that you're going to take. Now, this has a rogue in it, which kind of underpins the way that we do the obelisks here. However, it's still possible without one. So what we do with a rogue is we actually shroud to the first obelisk here, and we're going to activate this one, and we're going to drag the first obelisk into the first shed in kind of, we call it like the first area. So I've got the tank buster here. I'm just going to take the first spirit breaker and then I'm just going to kite it away. And my aim is to go into the hut that is behind me and drop him in there, because then I'm going to do a large pull into that hut. If you don't have a rogue, you can just clear up the left side. You can kill the first pack, which has got a couple of vendors in it. So again, you just want to be kicking the ice spritzers in those. And then you can actually take the obelisk. So it's only killing one pack. But if you have a rogue, you can just shroud up and get into that obelisk straight away. With the tank buster, just make sure if it is a higher level key that you are moving away from him when you've got that spirit breaker debuff on you, as you will get clobbered quite hard. Outside of that, it's not too many issues. You can just keep kiting him and get the Dark Fury cast as well. You can also kind of kite him in a circle if you had to around this hut here, but I'm going to aim to kill him. I would have liked to have killed him a little bit further inside the hut, but here is fine. We're going to come straight out into this pack here. I'm going to line of sight around the corner here, and then I'm going to grab one more pack, just waiting on this Peacekeeper here. If we had killed it inside, what I would have done is I would have just grabbed this pack and this pack that I'm immediately going for here as well. Now, what's really important is that you make sure that you grab the jockeys, or you tag the jockeys with something. That way, when they run and get into the Peacekeepers, you'll get full count. So what we do, regardless if it's Tyrant or Fort, we do this double pull here, we hero, and we nuke this down. With the Peacekeepers, just watch out for their charge claws. Their charge claw will cleave to like 3 people standing near you as well. It is a fair bit of damage, so just make sure you're rolling your cooldowns for that. Other than that, the throw wrenches from the laborers will also do a fair bit of damage. So when you pull them, line of sighting them is a really helpful thing rather than just standing out in the open. The jockeys, if any jockeys don't get into Peacekeepers, they will shoot a grease gun. Grease gun does a fair bit of damage as well. Then I'm just going to grab this Peacekeeper. Pretty much we're aiming to get the majority of our percent in this first area. So we're going to mop up these Peacekeepers here, and then just so I can get this going a little bit quicker, we're going to come around and we're going to pull this pat at the side of the house here, because pretty much I'm waiting. See this pat up here? I want to get them at the right time so I can get one of the jockeys into this mech here. So while they're up the top there, I'm going to pull this jockey. He's going to go into that mech. I made sure I tagged that jockey, so he's going to go into the Peacekeeper. With the assassins, make sure you interrupt their toxic blade. They'll also do a thing which is a hail of flechettes. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Here it is here. Make sure you either stun it, you grip it off, you fear it off, you typhoon it off, you do something so that doesn't stand there channeling that cast, as it does a lot of damage. If the toxic cast goes off, it does even more damage. The thugs will enrage, so just make sure if you have the option to soothe them, you are soothing them, and otherwise that's pretty much it in those mobs. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to finish up this pack here. So I actually walked into this one here. So this wasn't a plan of our route, but you can see here vendors cast the ice spritzer. You just want to make sure that you prioritize being able to interrupt, grip off, stun the ice spritzers. Here's a hail again, making sure that we have a stun, a gouge, anything on that to stop it from going off. So we're going to kill them. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to wait for this pack to move further up here so I can get this mech. So Zai's just having a drink. We're waiting. So they've gone up enough now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I tag one of the jockeys. So we've got a tag on it when it gets into this Peacekeeper here. So I'll get that. What I'm going to do is then I'm going to pull. Do I pull the inside once the Peacekeeper's in there? No, we don't. So Hale's going off again. I don't know why I didn't pull that inside pack. I mean, you pulled whatever's obviously capable in your group. I'm going to grab these 2 thugs here, actually, is what I'm doing now. Again, I probably wouldn't recommend, unless you've got a very coordinated group and a lot of DPS, pulling more than 2 thugs at a time. The thugs can do a fair bit of damage, especially on Fortified with their clothesline. But again, yeah, you should be fine with 2, no issues. So killing them, there's nothing new in those packs. I'm just going to skip through them. Biggest thing in this front area, guys, as the tank is trying to make use of the Peacekeepers and get the mech jockeys into Peacekeepers. So now I'm coming up here. I'm going to grip this jockey into this Peacekeeper here. You can just tag it and it will run into it as well. What I'm doing now is I'm just waiting for my grip, and then I'm going to get this pack behind me where my mouse is down the bottom of the screen here, over here. I'm going to grip that mech jockey into this Peacekeeper here. So my grips just come off CD. And now I'm going to run over. I'm going to grab this jockey here, and I'm going to grip that one into that Peacekeeper. I'm going to get a tag on the one over here. I've got my Blood Plague on it. That's activating that mech jockey up the top. So now we're going to have 3 Peacekeepers. So we're going to have 3 Peacekeepers. A large pull. Make sure, again, kite if you need to. There's no need to stand and face tank everything all the time. But this is a fairly big pull when you've got 3 Peacekeepers in it. It's tyrannical this week, so it's not as bad as if it was fortified. But yeah, again, biggest point in here is making use of the Peacekeepers as it is mass percent. So I'm killing those. Once they're down, we're going to grab this pack inside the shed here. Again, the Assassin, the Toxic Blade, making sure we've got kicks on them. When the hail goes off, making sure we stun, gouge, grip, whatever we have to make sure that that's not going off and killing people. Thugs here coming over to this Peacekeeper pack. I'm going to make sure I get a tag. That mech jockey's going into that Peacekeeper. Making sure we kick the Spritzer on the vendor. They're dying. We then just double pulled this pack in here. Again, it's the same kicks. Make sure Spritzer's not going off on anybody. The jockey's going to do the Grease Gun, which is going to hurt a bit if you're a healer, so you just need to be aware of that. But the Ice Vendor's the biggest thing that you want to be aware of. So we're going to kill them. We've got 2 minutes left on hero here, so we heroed on that big pull at the start, which is generally always what I advise doing because you're going to clear so much trash in this front area in Motherlode. You pretty much clear till hero's up, and then you go and do the boss. So we're going to this top pack now. Reason being is we've got 1:48 on hero, so I just want to get a clear path to the boss. Again, there's no new mobs in here that you haven't seen, so taking that the exact same way. Once they're dead, what have we got? We've still got 54 seconds, so we're going to do this pack here. Tag that jockey. That jockey's going to run into that Peacekeeper there. Again, more percent. So we're going to kill those, and then we are on to the boss. I don't know if we actually wipe. I think we wipe on this boss. Hold on, let me just fast forward. I think we actually wipe. We do. We reset the boss. Okay, so that's terrible. So you don't want to do that. So pretend that didn't happen, and now we're pulling the boss. So with the boss, again, I didn't want to make these like straight out dungeon guides where I talk, but just in case you don't know, they'll throw coins. When coins get thrown on the ground, you need to move the pummeler away. Always face the pummeler away from your raid. He'll do a shocking claw that gets pointed at you. It's a frontal cone. You don't want to stand at it. He'll do a static pulse that knocks you back as well. Bombs will come out. You may very well have to help your group sometimes kick the bombs back into him, but otherwise your job generally is just to point him away. When coins get thrown on the ground, move him away from them, at least 13 yards I think the range is, and that's pretty much it. There's the shocking claw. It's just a rinse repeat. If he does pick up coins via coin magnet, his damage will be increased, which isn't the end of the world, but you'll just need to rotate your CDs because he will be doing a lot of increased damage. So once he is dead, we are going back into the front area. No, we're not, because why aren't we? Oh, because we got enough percent. So percent-wise, guys, you want to be aiming in the front area to be coming out with 68% as a min. We're 78.1%, which is fine because we can skip a little bit of trash at the end. But as long as you're 68%, you'll be fine. So coming into this next area here, you can do a single pull, a double pull, a triple pull, a quad pull, whatever you feel comfortable in doing. So we've gone with a triple pull here. The biggest things here are the Earth Shapers, the Ventrico Earth Shapers. They will do a Rock Lance, which will absolutely truck you. So make sure you're prioritizing your interrupts on the Rock Lance. This is actually, I'm watching, I obviously didn't have much of a memory of this, but this is really terrible. I've only just put Bone Shield up now, so that's bad. Another thing, yeah, that's really bad. So yeah, if you've got, we had trees here, which obviously took a lot of the heat from that, which was really good, but yeah, Rock Lancers are the biggest things you just want to make sure you're interrupting, and just playing to your fixes obviously as well. Like if it's necrotic, you might not be able to do as big a pull. Bursting, just make sure you're monitoring it. If it's fortified, you may have to do, a double pull instead of a quad or a triple pull. Play to whatever your group strength is, but either way, we're coming up here and we're clearing these. So the Rock Lancers were the biggest things in those. So we triple pulled there, then we double pulled here. Again, there's nothing really new. Watch out for the bombs on the ground. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. We're then going to grab this pack on the hill up here. This is doing it this way. Our aim for this bit is to be, I think it was around 85% area, I think, coming out of here, but we'll see what we get to. I'll tell you when we get to the thing. So we're killing those, then we're going to come up, we're going to pull these 3 mobs here, and we see this sapper up here. We're going to sap that and go into the obelisk after this one. So it was way more than 80%, sorry, what we were aiming for, 90%, and we got there easily. So we're at 94% here. So we're at 94%, which is, this route was pretty perfect. I think we may have killed 1 mob, sort of thing that we didn't in the end in regards to percent, but it's fine. With this mob here, with the spider boss, you can get 2 interrupts on it, and then you can either leg it away and line of sight, which will cause the boss just to come to immediately to you, and the ads will kill itself, which I think is most of the time the best way to do this. If you've got areas to line of sight, or if you've got an area that you want to move to with this obelisk. You can kill it on the way. It'll be 2 casts back to back, and then you'll get a little bit of running room. But either or is fine. So we just run to the top of the hill here. Just make sure you've got your kicks sorted out. As I said, there'll be 2 back-to-back casts, and then there'll be a little bit of a break. So you can see there was a break here. Then there'll be Lingering Doubt, and then there'll be the Crippling. So another kick there, and then there'll be a bit of a break. So you can do that and DPS it as it's coming up the hill as well. But the big thing that you want to do is just make sure that you're killing it up here and skipping all the Taskmaster pack and things like that here. So we're moving up to the top with this one, and then we're going to go straight into the third boss. Hero's 20 seconds off. When Hero comes up, we're going to Hero. With this one, just make sure you're cleaving down the ads as quick as you can. When they're doing the resonating pulse, don't stand in this and get the ticking damage. Even as the tank, you don't want to be doing that. Put your slows down. As a DK, you can mass group them up. Put your D&D slow down to try and make life easier. We're going to Hero on it. Keep it faced away from your raid for the frontal shock, and that's about it. So once they're dead, fuck, this boss goes forever. We're going to jump in the mine carts. Otherwise, you can just run straight down the tracks, but it's 1 second quicker realistically once you get out of combat and get on a mount. And then we're going to come over to this obelisk in the corner. Now, the obelisks will change. There'll be Tyran A, Fort A, and then Tyran B, Fort B, where 2 of the obelisks will switch every rotation. It doesn't matter though, the pathing you do for the majority of the dungeons is still going to be the same, and it's especially the same in Motherlode. So we're going to pull this pack here. It's going to put us up to 98%, I want to say. Make sure you interrupt the Blowtorch here and the Transfiguration on the Alchemist. They're the 2 biggest ones that you want to watch out for. So then we're going to pull this obelisk. Now, the thing with the blob A hits the tank really hard, but what you want to do as the tank is you want to, obviously, if you can contribute to helping kill the tentacles, stunning and interrupting the tentacles, do it. Just watch with the blob if you've got all melee groups in regards to where you are dropping and where you are going with the blob, and putting pools of shit on the ground sort of thing. So you can kind of just hang off with the blob, and once pools have dropped, then move in and help DPS and then move back out. Otherwise, if you've got absolute pumpers and you can keep yourself alive, as soon as the blob spawns, you can kind of just start running with it, keep yourself alive while the DPS absolutely nuke down the tentacles, and then catch up to you. The other option is if there's line of sight that you can, with the blob, snap the tentacle spawns to a different location and then nuke them down there. But that all depends on what dungeon you're doing and what line of sight tools you've got. But in this one, we're just taking the blob all the way here onto Rixxa's platform, just making sure you're moving out of the purple goo. That's pretty much it. And then we're onto Rixxa. So coming out onto Rixxa's platform, Rixxa is super heavy magic damage. So just as a tank, just be well and truly aware of that. Rixxa and the last boss in Motherlode are just balls out magic damage, so just be aware of that. Chemical burn, you can see that's going off in 5 seconds. You can AMS it to avoid the application of that. It goes on the 2 closest targets to her, so I put AMS up and stood on her then, so we didn't actually get a chemical, well, I didn't get a chemical burn, and one other went on Richard, who just got a dispel, so easy way to manage that. With Rixxa, just make sure when there's shit on the ground, your group is baiting the pushback from Rixxa, the propellant blast. So you're all standing, when propellant blast comes out, you're all standing sort of in front of puddles, so it pushes the azurite pools off the platform, so you've got room to move around. As the tank as well, just be aware that azurite is going to shoot out from, I think there's 4 pipes around the platform where it'll shoot across the encounter space. So just make sure you're kind of looking around for that with your camera. So I am kind of constantly looking for it at the moment. It's coming in front of us now, so I'm just moving well away from that. We get a little bit of a puddle here, which was a little bit awkward, but again, we're going to move her over. We're going to position ourselves for the propellant blast so we can push the azurite pools off. And that's pretty much it. So getting through Rixxa, which is not the greatest fight on Tyran, and then we are off to the last boss. So we're at 99.7%. So we probably overpulled a little bit. Get across, if you've got a road, get across the oil river here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to shroud. We're going to why am I pointing? So what we're going to do, so we're going to get across the pool here. Then we're going to distract this pack here to the left, and we're going to shroud up through the middle of here, because these can see stealth, but if you go this path and you distract them, you can get up to this obelisk. You can then click this obelisk without aggroing any trash, and then we can go straight to the last boss. So with the fear ad here, or the fear obelisk I should say, just kill the flesh rend, the little ads pretty much where you stand, and then move. Just watch, because the stacking dot from them is quite nasty. So trees are great if you've got the option. Otherwise, get some threat on them, drop a slow, and kind of move away as your DPS kill them. Stuns, all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, once they're dead, we're just going to move up the hill, and we're going to move all the way up to Razdunk here up the top. And we're just going to kill him up the top. So you can AMS the fear too if you need to avoid being feared, but otherwise it'll always fear you away from him. So if you're trying to kite him somewhere and you're just legging it away, the fear will just go off. You'll keep running forwards. He won't catch you anyway, and you'll be fine. So we're going to come out on this platform up here for Razdunk now. Now there's several ways. Actually, there's 3 ways you can do Razdunk realistically. One is that you can move him around away from the teacup lines, sort of all across the platform to avoid the bad stuff. Another one is that you can tank him over where this blue marker is, facing inwards, and there'll always be a safe spot. The other one is that you can tank him on the stairs, which means that you'll just take all the homing missile hits, but you don't have to move the entire fight. I don't mind either way. This is generally the way we do it, but we have started doing it on the stairs more recently. But yeah, I mean, either way, whatever you're comfortable with as the tank, and whatever your group sort of decided on or is happy to do. But this is a fairly easy way to do it. The Gatling gun, you make sure you always point it in. When the fire comes off, there is always going to be a safe spot to stand. It's never sort of full. So you can see under him was safe there as well, or just off to the side. It can be a little bit risky and does require people to pay attention. Whereas if you're tanking it on the stairs, you sort of stand up on, you go down to this grate where I'm pointing over here at the side, and then you face him back in towards the platform, and your DPS just stand behind. Biggest thing, just make sure you move in when phase 2 gets here, when the ads come out. And that's about it if you want to tank it on the stairs. But again, it's completely up to you. So we don't move from this spot for the whole fight, doing it this way. 2 Sky Scorchers come out. Just make sure that you are nuking down the Sky Scorchers. Make sure you're interrupting them as well. They can cause problems with the concussion, so just make sure that you interrupt them and get them down quickly. Otherwise, running to your pillars, if it's on you, that's pretty much it. Smash the 3 things, kill him, and that's it, guys. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea about Motherlode. If it's something you're looking to get into in the plus 10s and you've been a bit worried about how to handle Awakened, I'm going to try and get these out for all the dungeons. You know, I'll do them as I get the chance, but wanted to get one out, at least one out this week. So here it is. If you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Come find me on Twitch. Come hang out in the Discord, and I'll see you all next time. See you, fam.
The shadows.